I don't know if you guys are all performing, but I was going to maintain close if things go bad. I mean, I'm going to pull out
the crowd like you are, James. I'm not on the stage.
I'm going to be close by. I'm going to throw out one of my friendly animals and just have it sick the succubus if things start to churn, you know?
Oh, I get that.
Hello, gentlemen.
There you go.
Good evening.
Hello.
Hi, Gally.
So I discovered something this week, and what I discovered it was related to my Monster Mondays. I was going back and listening to it, and I was like, "Dang, there's something that just doesn't sound quite right on the mic." So I started going and just, digging through every single thing I could find everywhere and whatnot. And I found out that somewhere in a Windows sound setting that actually it wasn't even Windows, it was in the sound card setting. I had at some point gone and turned the gain down on my microphone for whatever reason. I don't know. I don't remember why I did that. Or either that it was just set that way and I never turned it. So I played with it, turned it up a little bit, recorded some stuff. It sounded okay. So you guys may need to adjust me on your end. I had to adjust myself a little bit on the stream to avoid overpowering everything because I had gotten everything on the stream adjusted for the level that my mic was. If you had adjusted me up relative to other people, I might be too loud now. I don't know whether it affects what comes through Discord or not.
You sound good to me.
Nice.
Yeah. Sounds good.
Plus,
Okay,
if you're too
all
loud in Discord, I can turn you down.
Right. Yeah. That's the good thing about Discord is you can level set everybody relative to each other. And every so often I wind up having to do that. But the last few streams, everybody sounded pretty good on our stream. So haven't had to ask. In the Saturday night game, there was somebody that was a little soft, so I had to adjust them. So how's everybody doing this evening?
Yeah, pretty
got
good.
my-
Talking about face paralysis and other fun things.
Oh, paralysis. What's this from?
Myself and James had a vaccine, and we were talking about the after effects. I had mild face paralysis, and I was in bed for a while.
Oh,
James had
goodness.
a chill, I believe, and didn't have a fever or anything or something. So we're comparing that it hits people differently. It's kind of
Hey, Skyland, thanks for joining us on the stream. Skyland is with us in the stream. That's one of Pete's friends who plays in the Sunday game. And they've been consistently one of the folks in the stream for the last few weeks.
I should say I got my ears lowered today.
Ears lowered?
Like
I got a haircut.
got him clipped.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Got my ears lowered. Got a haircut. Yeah, it was nice because I had all that hair. God, it was so bad.
I just started putting all mine up in male buns lately.
Yeah, no.
I'll be glad to get back for a haircut at some point. I'm going to the doctor on Monday. It's a regular scheduled appointment. But I'm going to ask because as of the 1st of this month, they finally opened it up beyond people that are first responders and 65 and older. The state of Florida has finally opened it up, and so I'm going to talk to my doctor on my appointment on Monday about any reasons I should avoid that? Should I go ahead and try to get scheduled and whatnot? And then, who knows? They may even have some available at their office. So
They turned our convention center into a vaccination center.
Yeah, they're doing some mass vaccination centers here in Florida. They want to have at least one, maybe more here in Orlando, because for a modest sized town population wise in Orlando, there's tons of big spaces. We have 2 full-sized football stadiums, one downtown that they use for all the bowl games, and then one out of the university. And then we've got the soccer stadium, and we've got the big arena where the NBA and the minor league hockey team plays. And then they've got all the stuff down at the convention center, and all of the other spaces. So there's plenty of places they could do it around here.
Get ready. Texas is full throttle open now.
Yeah, they are full steam ahead. Well, more power to them. I mean, gosh, they just got hammered with all that weather recently, so we'll see. All right. Well, everybody, we are going to go ahead and get started. Let me go. Stream, you have been listening to Stream Beats. Those of us on the Discord, we haven't heard it because it is not playing through the Discord for us. We have the music going through a different route these days. Hope you have enjoyed the Stream Beats. And we are going to go ahead and move over to our map. Last time here on the Sword Coast Chronicles, we were in the city of Gracklestugh, where we have been for a while. And the party has learned a few things. They talked with the Seneschal last week. They talked with the Stonespeaker. They talked with the Keepers of the Flame, and they had lunch. And Crenraid learned about the hot sauce that the folks down in or down near use. As Falliger shared some hot sauce with everybody for their crawfish by the Dark Lake. And when they finished up, they had finished their discussion with the Seneschal, who is heading back to the hold of the Deepking to get ready for the evening's festivities. The Seneschal allowed us how he had a friend who would be able to cast True Seeing on the king during the performance. They kind of worked out a way that might happen, and hopefully that means that the Deep King will be able to see the consort for who she is, and we'll hope that that's a surprise to him, or at least that's what the party is hoping, is that will be a surprise. And we've got I don't know if there's anything else that the party wants to do, because there's a few hours. There's banquet's probably going to start somewhere around 7 or 8. It's probably about 3-ish. Well, no, it's probably about 4-ish. Between 4 and 5 now in the afternoon. So 2 or 3 hours in Gracklestugh time before they need to be at the deep hold. Did you guys want to go and do anything between now and then? Did you want to head back to the hold of the Deep King and start to strategize, or what did you want to do?
Mulek would like to, if he can, find about an hour to spend some time attuning to this Stonespeaker crystal.
Oh, sure.
Other than that, I'm up for strategizing with the others regarding tonight before the evening's festivities begin.
Okay.
We need to discuss what our plan is, though.
Well, you can do the attuning anywhere. You can sit for an hour. You guys would probably be welcome to do that at the home of the Stonespeaker if you wanted to, or go back to your quarters in the hold of the Deepking if you wanted to do that. Those two.
There's too many ears on the hold of the Deepking.
Okay. All right.
I feel like this is a safe place for us to rest up, visit, talk, strategize.
And
we've got somewhat of a good plan going.
Yeah, and Hagram says, Yes, this is, you are welcome to stay here and strategize. I'm just going to start to get Tiny's dinner ready. Don't mind me. And he trundles off to the kitchen.
I like that guy.
If you guys don't mind, I need about an hour to attune to this crystal that the Stonespeaker gave to us. If that's all right with you three.
I'm fine with that.
Of course, yeah, it's fine.
With that, Mulek, we'll just find a little corner and sit down, and pull out the crystal, and focus on it for the next hour.
Okay.
So you think our plan will work, Ballinger? I mean, we get everything in place and pop goes the weasel at the crescendo of the show. And I mean, if all hell breaks loose, we just attack, I guess. Me and Mulek could be in the crowd. I mean, we could handle it from two angles.
Fallinger just kind of leans back. He's finished rolling up a tobacco cigarette. He strikes a match and lights a cigarette. He says,
You mind rolling me one of those two there, Fallinger?
Yeah, you want one? All right. And he hands you the one he just lit, and he goes back to rolling it, and he says, well, I reckon it'll go all right, just as long as everybody does their part. I mean, if the shit hits the fan, so to speak, ain't a lot we can do. I guess we could try to make a run for it, or we could just try to double down and, try again and make sure that he's fully aware of what's going on. I don't think we make it that far. It's a risky, high reward, high risk.
We just
You're
gotta
right.
make sure that the Shao or Shay, whatever her name was, is center stage, so she's right in the king's eye line when he takes his curtain call.
I kind of have an idea for that. Make the very front row, very middle square seat or area, say, for the king's consort, guest of honor, right there. So that way, there's no way he can't see her.
Put her on a box or something?
Not necessarily a box, but we just make sure that the guard know that everybody that she needs to be direct front and center without making a big fuss about it, without us being directly tied to it. Say that the king wants her directly front and center, something.
If anyone argues that, they'll have to argue with the king, who wants to see the lady as much as possible, so that makes sense.
Just trying to put two and two together. But I mean, it should work. I mean, I don't see. Yeah, I mean, as Fallinger said, is Thaldor takes a puff of the cigarette. There might be some issues, but nothing we can't handle. So I think like Fallinger said, if shit hits the fan, we run or double down. if the guard are with us, and everything, then we could probably handle it. But if she just disappears, well, we've got other issues at that point.
Yeah, like we made a mortal enemy. Well, we just have to put an axe or two in her head before she does.
I'll make sure I have a loaded crossbow bolt ready. But other than that, I think we're ready.
I'll assume an hour has passed, and Mulek comes over and says, "All right, is our plan good?"
It's pretty good, but we'll probably need to, I don't know, wheel by a few of the details because we'll still be considering as we go. But what are we gonna do to get the king on stage? Right, we perform 1 or 2 songs and then ask if the king would come and join us and escort him up or something.
Falliger, no, I'm not even going to make you do that because you played that concert last night. You remember there was a number that you played. And Ken, I'm going to let you figure out what that number is like. If it was a march, if it was a ballad, if it was a reel or jig or something like that. But there was a number that you played at the Shattered Spire that people made a point of telling you was King Horgar Steel Shadow's favorite song. So you know that one. And that might be one to play to get him up on the stage.
Okay.
So you can be thinking about that for when we get to that point, and you can say, well, what I play is I play this, and it's, then describe it a little bit.
If things don't go the way we planned, do we want to have some type of audible, some type of code word? If we can't get the king to see the shawl as in her true form, do we want to just pretend that everything is good and we don't address it at that point, or are we going to definitely go after the shawl regardless?
If we try to go after her not in succubus form, we're screwed, because then they'll think we're just trying to attack a woman, so that won't work. The audible is if he sees her and his jaw drops to the floor, we hope he says something before we make our action. If he says something, we attack, we act.
Well, I think that's the play, right? That's the play we've called. But if it doesn't happen, then we should have it like a code word.
I guess demon is the code word.
We just yell out demon and then pretend like everything is good?
No,
or are you saying we yell demon and we go through our plan?
If he sees her and we notice a reaction on his face, we yell demon.
Okay.
All right.
If we don't hear demon, we don't attack.
Exactly.
All right.
And we just act like everything's normal.
I'm good with that.
It's simple. I like simple. I'll have my hammer at the ready anyway because I'll be beating on an anvil.
There you go. So, I think I gave him the rest of the whiskey. Damn. I was going to say, because if not, I'd pull out the whiskey bottle and say, let's have a shot before this gets taken off,
Well, you guys, that might have been the night you weren't with us, Michael, but when you went to your chambers, the guest rooms in the hall of the Deepking, you found that there is a fully stocked dry bar in each of your rooms.
Then being the rogue that I am, I took a bottle of fine whiskey And
Okay.
it's on me. So I pull out the whiskey in 2 shot glasses because I know Mulek doesn't drink. So I take my water skin and pour him a shot of water and go, okay, guys, this is it. This is for the enchilada, the big shebang. We might not live through this, but if we do, it'll be a hell of a story. Cheers. And I just down the whiskey.
For the enchilada! And cheers it.
Then I tuck the bottle back away slowly and then to say, all right, I'm ready when y'all are, guys.
Faldor, what's an enchilada?
It's meat wrapped in a flour type bread that's flat and not risen with, different spices and things like that.
What kind of meat?
Beef, pork, whatever type of meat you can think of, I would imagine.
That's
Except
a lot of
human.
meat. Now I'm hungry.
Yeah, right. And you cover it with like some goat cheese or some cow cheese. It's really good.
Oh, I love cheese. Cheese is so good.
It'd be even better with some of that Faerun hot sauce that he has. I think that would just like put it over the top.
Oh, yeah, it was really delicious. Just don't put it in your face.
Yeah, I noticed.
One last question I've got. So we think the shawl is a succubus. And I think I heard that the succubus can go into different planes of existence.
Yeah.
I had a question on that.
Is there a way?
One of you guys made a check last week on what you know about succubi, and you know that a succubus can go into the ethereal plane.
Right. And I was going to ask, is there a way to prevent that from happening? Does anyone know?
Mulek, did you learn sending? Did you memorize that spell?
Not yet. Oh no, I didn't prepare. I didn't prepare it. I have the scroll, but I didn't prepare it.
How many scrolls have we got left? I know I used one. How many more do we got left?
We have 7.
7 total left.
Can we burn one and talk to our lynch buddy and see if he would know what to do? Because the man's been around for millennia. He might know what to do in this situation.
Well, if I remember correctly, like it was the thing about Falliger knew what it was, and he's the one that came up and he explained everything he knew about succubus, and he would know the etherealness, but I don't think there's any real way for us to counter a succubus from going into etherealness, right, Callie? It's like a natural ability.
Well, there are some spells. Now, if you can get your hands on a 7th level spellcaster,
Oh Lord,
or somebody who can cast 7th level spells,
okay,
there is a spell called Force Cage.
yeah,
And you put that around somebody, and a creature inside the cage can't leave, even if it tries to use teleportation or interplanar travel.
Well, Falliger, what you have that nifty spell that suggestion that you have that way with words to get people, get things to do things that we want them to do. I wonder maybe that might have an effect. I have. I can command, but I don't know if it's powerful enough or if, they
command
would overcome something like that. But
like I said before, I think suggestion is a last resort kind of thing. But I'll definitely do it if what we do don't work.
That makes sense. But I was going to say, command's a 1-word spell, correct? Like 1 word. You can command them to do?
I can, but it only lasts for 6 seconds. So but if I keep casting it, it's potential that I could keep the succubus from leaving.
Exactly. You just say stay.
I'm successful. Yes. Or grovel or lay or freeze.
I think she's done a lot of laying. So let's.
I could command her.
I may not
want to
use that one. I may not want to use that one.
I could command her to do something simple like stand there and don't leave and talk to us for 8 hours or something, stupid like that.
So I think we've got some options. I can.
Yeah, that's through the suggestion, right? Falliger? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And if need be, I could manipulate time a little bit. All right. I think it's as good as we got, guys.
It's better than most of the half-baked plans we've come up with in the past.
That's because you got a genius with you. It's all right.
Out of character. Since last week we rolled or whatever, and I was the one that knew a lot about succubuses. Would I know what kind of special traits besides that? Like, do they have any resistances, or if they do, which ones do I know about? Yada yada.
Yeah, let's see. Do.
I mean, I know they can go ethereal, so I didn't know if I also knew what their other attributes were or not.
Well, they can charm people.
Yep.
And they charm people typically with a kiss. The kiss can also drain energy from people.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see. Yes. Oh, and okay. There's 4 special things you know about them.
Okay.
They can charm people. Their kiss can drain people's health quite potently. They can change their shape so that they can appear to be a medium-sized humanoid or a small humanoid. And once they have somebody charmed, they have a telepathic bond with them. And the telepathic bond of the succubus is quite strong because it persists even when the succubus and its charmed target are on different planes of existence.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, but I don't know about what languages they speak or if they have any other things about them. That's all I know.
You would know that they're a fiend, so they'd probably speak either infernal or abyssal, and maybe both. Those types of things, and there's rumors that they're telepathic, or at least some of them are telepathic, but that may also be conflated with their bond that they have with their charmed target.
Okay. Well, I convey this information to the rest of the boys, and I say, make sure she doesn't kiss you. I mean, obviously, you got to be willing to do it, but if she charms you and then she kisses you, you're not going to be able to resist it, and it's really going to hurt. All right. Now, some of you know it's kind of a, how do I say, Mulek, you know, some magic affects one's vitality. One's constitution, their health.
Like you get very fatigued.
Yeah, it's like the
really beat up feeling.
It's like they suck a lot of your life force out of you, and it takes quite a while for you to recover from it. You have to do a lot of resting.
I kind of got a guys, and this is in character. Kind of got a what is it, ace up my sleeve, so to say. When it comes to me, she can't read my thoughts, and she definitely can't communicate with me unless I want her to. So, yeah. Thank you, Ring of Mind Shielding.
Yes. I don't find her that attractive. So
does she have to kiss you on the lips or just kiss you anywhere?
I think it's on the lips.
Okay.
I mean, as far as I don't know, I've never had one kiss me, but I can tell you, I think it's just if you accept her kiss, I don't think it really matters where. I think it just has to touch your skin.
Right. No lips. Gotcha.
No kissy. Gotcha.
But
Yeah,
like I
stay away
said,
from her lips.
it has to be voluntary, you know.
Well, I would think that you would probably be. Oh, it would probably be very bad to try to kiss her anyway. Oh, because after all, it's the king's consort. He wouldn't take kindly to other people kissing on her. Oh, I don't think. He might get jealous. I wouldn't want her to kiss me just for that reason. Says
You know,
the Stonespeaker.
you're quite right. The other night when she snuck into my room, I could have very well kissed her. It would have been bad. Of course, she would have gave herself away, but yeah,
Ooh,
I'm surprised.
that is bad.
Surprised she didn't try to charm me then.
Why didn't she try to charm you then?
I don't know.
Maybe she was tired.
Maybe she was just nervous and she was trying to decide if I was gonna be easy prey or not. I guess I don't know. But
Well, I suspect that somebody very devious like that might have been trying to find out how much you all knew. Maybe see what manner of folk you were.
Or if she can use this. I don't like this woman.
Or if she could use you, yes, that's a good suggestion, friend dwarf. Yes, I see that you've had enough whiskey to add some brain cells today.
No. I'm very, very smart. It's just that the whiskey kind of helps me speak a bit better.
Ah, yes, okay. Yes, when you wouldn't believe it, when they first named me the Stonespeaker, I was very shy. And I had to rely on a lot of the gifts of the dwarven ale and the spirits that the other stone giants gave me so that I could answer people's questions. After a time, you get used to it, but it was very difficult going at first. There were many mornings that I would wake up and I would be on the floor with a bad headache, and there would be an empty bottle, and Tiny would be on his back with his paws in the air and his tongue hanging out, and there would be bits of tiny hair all around the mouth of the bottle. And so I knew I had passed out, and then he had finished the bottle, and he had passed out too.
That is very cute.
Oh, it was. Oh, tell me, it was not. It was not fun, because it would sometimes take an hour after I woke up for the room to stop spinning.
So, what do stones sound like?
Oh, well, every stone has its own voice, and they all have a voice that is in a different register depending on the type of stone. You have granite, which is very majestic and deep voice like the roots of the mountains themselves. And then you have elegant voices like the marble which is so suave, so debonair, so well-mannered, and extremely well-spoken. And then you have the angry voice of the igneous rock. It doesn't like being heated up that way. How dare those volcanoes liquefy it and then let it solidify any old way? They get very, very cranky. And then you have the very mellow sandstone voice that's just laid down, wafted down from the ancient seas, where it drifts to the bottom, just like the waves, drifting back and forth, drifting back and forth, drifting back and forth. And then you have The limestone. The limestone is kind of a strange stone. It doesn't like telling you the truth a lot. It likes keeping secrets. And you have to sort of niggle at it and bother it and attack it from many different angles before it will tell you what you want to know. And then you have the quartz. The quartz stone. And you get the idea that if you let him, he is going to just go on and on and on, and you'll be here until next week with him.
Crowley is really concerned right now because what he's getting from this conversation is that stones have feelings, and he worked as a mason in his last hold. So, Crowley is just processing in his brain that he may have committed mass murder.
Let me ask you this: if stones can talk, they can hear?
Can they feel?
And if they can, what kind of music do they like?
Oh, well, the stones do resonate, if you will, at various frequencies, and that depends again on the type of stone. Let me think. I believe that basalt is the major stone that is used for the palace of the Deepking. So basalt, for instance, it likes something with a very driving rhythm, with something like a good march or an up-tempo jig that will resonate throughout and bounce off of the walls of the stone, and that sort of makes it happy. And Master Dwarf, to answer your question about the whether stones feel anything, that depends on. Well, they do. The short answer is yes, they do have feelings, and
God.
they have opinions about how they are being treated. Now, they appreciate when someone who has a great deal of skill can shape them into something that is marvelous to behold, because then they get the adoration of all of the flesh beings that come and look at the statue or the building or the tower or the wall or the castle that is created with them. But they get very cross indeed with with someone who merely is a and he looks around. He says, "Oh, Mr. Mulek, Mr. Thaldor, please, I mean no offense, but they get quite cross with human stonemasons. They are just so, they're butchers. They're unskilled heathens. It makes my heart sink to see what they do to poor stones when they try to build a wall. It's all lumpy and crooked, and the stones are all mismatched. Oh, that's a terrible thing. Stones don't like that very much, but they usually do appreciate a good dwarven craftsman, because they know that dwarves who are born of the stone, they are brothers in a way with the stone. And the stone even helps the dwarven craftsman to shape it into something beautiful. It helps. You may find the next time you are working on a project, it helps if you tell the stone what you are making. You may find that it actually allows you to shape it more easily, and it will work with you. Try that next time you are working on a project. I'm sure you will find that's the case. And Mr. Falliger, the stones only speak to those who know how to listen. It takes decades, sometimes centuries, to learn to truly listen to the stones. Why, there was one time for 25 whole years, I had to lay with my left ear pressed to the ground, and I could not move. I had to have people bring me food. I had to have people bring me drink. I had to have people carry away my waste, if you will. I could not move from the spot. I had to listen with my left ear for 25 years. Then I had to roll over and listen with my right ear for 25 years.
Yep.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
Only
my!
then.
Look at the time. Oh,
I gather that. I was just curious if you could tell me what rock music sounds like.
Jesus Christ.
Okay. That's out of character. In character, well, Falishur, if you ever are lucky enough to be in the presence of an earthquake, you will hear what the music of the stone sounds like.
Well, I'm more interested in the rhythm, you know. I love all forms of music and I like experimenting. And apparently, this rock language got a whole thing going on. So, you know, they like different rhythms and things. I imagine it's more of a, you know, something I could put on paper that I could write down. There's got to be some kind of formula, you know.
Oh, well, you would have to find someone in a hold of the stone giants who is a stone speaker that also is a musician. Sadly, I do not have much of a musical ear. In fact, I have been told that if I had a bucket with a lid on it, I could not carry a tune. It is. I am unfortunately not one who can describe the music very well. I know the genres of music they like, but not how to express
of course.
their music.
Yes. Well, let's say that one wanted to go on a quest to learn rock music. Where would he go?
Oh, there would be no better place than Graven Hollow. And Mulek, I believe you have a key now that will help you get to Graven Hollow, or help you enter Graven Hollow if you get there. That crystal that you hold. Travel with Mulek. Go to Graven Hollow. You will be able to find from the finest stone giant musicians and scholars all of their writings about the music that they hear and share with the stones in the holds everywhere they go. You know, they sometimes go to great holds in the north where it is very cold, and they talk to the cold stones. And then they go to very places that are very hot, and they talk to the hot stones or the lava rocks. And then sometimes, if they are very lucky, they get to go to places where the stones are naturally round. And then they get to learn the music of the rolling stones. This is very important.
All right, that's quite informative. Thank you.
Oh, you are welcome. You are welcome.
And Falliger just kind of looks around at everybody like, okay.
You good, Falliger? You got everything you wanted?
Falliger and Krenraid, I know you have duties tonight, but please, if you are in If you are still in Gracklestug tomorrow, you are welcome to come back. We can talk all about the music of the stones and the language of the stones, for that matter. Oh, I could go. It's been so long since somebody other than a stone giant asked me about this. I would be happy to talk.
Conray's still got his hands on his head, still trying to decide whether stones have feelings or not, because he's just getting so many different mixed messages. He can't process or connect any of the dots. So it's just like, am I a murderer? Oh God, what have I done? What about the stones that are beneath the walls? Oh no.
Good.
What about the foundation stones? Ah.
Mulek looks to Thaldor and says, "We got to get Kren out of here. He's going crazy."
I'm having an existential crisis.
I think he's already there.
Shall we go then?
Yeah, we go.
All right.
All right. Well, you guys. Oops. Well, they're on the right map. I'm not on the right map. Okay. You guys travel then from the House of the Stonespeaker out of Cairngorm Cavern, and then you make your way. You're headed back to the hold of the Deepking, or were you going to go somewhere else?
I'm going to say that the time has come.
Okay.
It's pretty close, right? Does everyone agree with that, I guess?
I'm as ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. You all go on into the hold of the Deepking, and by the time you get there, you have like maybe 45 minutes before dinner, so you can go back to your rooms. You can quickly bathe if you want to, get fresh clothes on, or get your that you find when you get back there. That if you left any of your possessions in the rooms while you went out today, none of your possessions have been touched. However, you notice that when you open the armoires, there are elegant silken robes and kind of formal wear that is closely enough sized for each one of you that you can comfortably wear it. And it seems like you have been given an entire wardrobe to choose from how you want to dress for the banquet tonight. This is, of course, a formal banquet in the hold of the Deepking. And you do find that there are some of the outfits are ones that you would wear as normal outer clothes. Other outfits are actually sized so that they can go over armor. So they are things that somebody could wear to a formal event to appear to be dressed formally, and yet still, it's got enough extra room in there that you can wear it over your armor. So they, it's like that stuff wasn't there this morning when you all left. So Krenraid, it sort of gives you an idea of what they are, of what this guy is spending on all of these banquets that he's holding.
I'm telling you, if he keeps spending like this, there ain't gonna be nothing left in his royal coffers. I'd rather that money go in my pocket.
And so when you get, I'll go around to each of you. Krenraid, when it comes to the, whoops, okay. Paul, you're back.
Apologies, yep.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Krenraid, when it comes to getting ready for the banquet, Do you wear your normal clothes? Do you choose something out of the wardrobe that has been provided, and would you wear that over any? I can't remember if Krenraid wears any armor or not.
Yeah, he wears a half plate with some hide around his some bottom. It's pretty shambly put together. You can tell he put it together himself, and he's definitely no artisan. The fanciest thing, in contrast, is his cloak, which is a bit torn at points, but it's still incredibly fancy. Does not suit the rest of his look at all.
Okay. So would you wear something that might go over the armor from the armoire that was provided for Krenraid?
Like, if there's anything that looks really comfy, sure, I'm not averse to putting some clothes on.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's
any pajamas
there's
or a dressing gown or something like that, something that you wouldn't normally wear in public. That's really comfy.
Like there's like a really elegant looking smoking jacket that or there's actually several of them, and they come in different colors. There's like a deep blue, a crimson, a purple, a brilliant yellow, a green, a white, and a black.
Oh my
and you can wear those, and each of them has different kind of like geometric or floral patterns on them, and they will fit over everything, and they look like something that would make you look like you belong in a formal setting, but you still can obviously have all of your armor on underneath it. And so Krenraid wouldn't feel naked in this stuff.
I'll definitely take the deep blue one because my clothes is already purple, so that would complement it lovely.
Okay, all right. So that's Krenraid. Mulek. Mulek, you also have a similar array, and would you take something that goes over your armor, or would you take something in lieu of your armor?
No, definitely something that goes over my armor. In fact, something that would allow me to conceal two bags, one a bag of holding, one a bag of tricks that I could kind of strap onto myself.
Sure. Yeah,
to conceal. Yeah. And I'm going to put my shield into my bag of holding.
Okay.
And I'm just going to wear just nothing flashy or nothing fancy, just like a conservative, maybe just like the black plainish.
Okay. So you find one of the black ones, and the most plain one you find is a black silk, kind of outer robe that has geometric patterns that are done in a black thread of a different type of fabric. And that's kind of the most understated thing that you can find. All right, Thaldor. What about for Thaldor?
Like a dark green type of cloak in there, like a real dark, like hunter,
like a dark forest green or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could find a dark green. You can find one that has kind of like some geometric patterns on it. One that has kind of more like forest floral prints on it.
More like a dark, like just one solid, maybe a little geometric shapes around the shoulders, but just like dark, like green.
Yeah, you can find there's like a couple of the geometric ones have limited geometric patterns, but they're kind of all over. There are none of them that are just limited to the shoulders. So
that's fine.
You can find some.
I'll wear that. As long as it's roomy enough that I can conceal my crossbow, I'm good.
Oh yeah. It is. All right, and Faerun. What about for Faerun? What would Faerun wear?
He's been working on a uniform off and on in secret.
Okay.
And it's kind of a onesie that kind of zips up in the middle and it's got these kind of skinny jeans, skinny legs, and it flares out at the bottom. And he's got some, like not expensive gems, rather just kind of like cheap gems. They're kind of like studded into it. And
let me guess, it's white.
Actually, it's black.
Oh, it's black. Okay.
Yeah. It's kind of leather, and it's got some real colored stitching in it with some designs on it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that makes perfect sense. He's the showman. He is the bard, and the bard, of course, is going to show up looking like the bard, and not looking like other formal guests. The rest of you pick the different clothing that you're going to wear for the feast and put that on. And then when there's about 15 minutes before people are called to the feast, a servant shows up, knocks on each of your doors, and the servant is pleased to see that you are all dressed and says, "Oh, well, I'm so glad," says to the three of you, "I'm so glad that you found something in the wardrobe that was to your taste." And then to Faerun, they say, "Oh, Mr. Faerun, that looks so wonderful. The Deepking is going to be very impressed with that outfit. I know he's going to love it. Gentlemen, if you will follow me, I will lead you to the dining hall, and we will have dinner, and then we will retire to the great hall for the concert thereafter." And so you guys head out to the dining hall, and you get in. This is not the dining hall where you had breakfast. This is a formal dining hall, and there is a big, huge, long table that actually there are two tables that are arranged in a T. There is a large table that goes down the center of the hall and goes up towards several steps that lead up to a large dais at one end of the room. And this long central table, it has silk tablecloth that looks like, it has to be several pieces of cloth that are stitched together, but the stitching is done so expertly that you really can't see from the outside what how it's put together. But it's a kind of an eggshell colored silk tablecloth that goes across this table. It's fully 8 feet wide and about 40 feet long. And then there are benches along each side, and at each place there are 2 crystal goblets and a very fine looking stoneware mug, along with tableware, a fork, knife, and spoon that look like they are made of silver and edged with gold. And those places go all the way up and down both sides of the table. And then in the center of the table, every 8 or 10 feet, there is a large arrangement of different kinds of flowers, and several of these you can tell are silk flowers, but there's enough aroma that you can tell that actually some of these arrangements are flowers that have been brought from the surface down here and somehow kept fresh, because you can smell the sweet smell of like jasmine or rose or some of the other fragrant flowers that you are used to from the surface. And then up above, there's just enormous wagon wheel size candelabras that have probably about 40 candles around the edge. And then they're like 3 or 4 tiers, with each tier being a little bit smaller and more candles on each tier, leading up to the top, and big heavy chains that go all the way up to the stone ceiling, which is some 40 feet above the floor here. And then up at the head of the room on this dais, there is a table that is about 24 feet across. And that is set with places only on one side, which is against the wall, so that everybody who's seated at that table is looking out down across this big hall. And you all are told that you are to be guests of the king at his table. So you will be sitting at the head table for the banquet tonight. And you can see that there are several people that are in there already. 3 or 4 people are seated at the big main table. Nobody is seated at the head table yet. And you are led actually off to a little room to the side where there's several stone benches that all have silk cushions, and there's little tables that have kind of hors d'oeuvre style things, and then mugs and goblets, and there's somebody actually serving both ale and wine there in this room. And you're asked to wait there until the king comes, and then once the king approaches the table, then all of his guests are allowed to go up to the table. But of course, nobody is allowed to go and sit at the table until the king does. So it's like, wow, okay. And all of these people in the palace, they all have this it's very similar to the livery that you've seen earlier today, but these people that are serving at the banquet all have basically silk or satin versions of the palace livery on. And they have, the gentlemen have cufflinks that appear to sparkle as though they are actual gemstones, like emeralds or diamonds. And this is the servants, mind you. And the ladies have little nets woven through their hair that have little sparkly gems in them. And so, it's like, all right, this is like super, super fancy. None of you, or for some of you, you may have never seen an event this fancy before, based on what they have. And of course, all of the goblets that are in this little sort of, if you will, a green room where you're waiting for waiting to go to the head table. All of the goblets here appear to be made of either silver or gold. The mugs appear to be made of silver or gold. Everything is super fancy. So you all get over there. There's people milling around. So what do you guys do while you're waiting?
I look over and ask the nearest person. Every night.
Falliger, he's kind of off stage somewhere in a room. He's getting dressed.
Okay. All right. Thaldar, you were trying to talk, but you were super, super quiet.
I sit there and say, he does this every night?
And
Well, they
And
told
what
us. They told us when we first came here. It was like several times a week. I don't know if it was
yes,
every night, but yeah, this is crazy.
yeah. As soon as Mulek begins to pipe up, one of the person who's pouring the wine says, "Oh, not every night. We only have these banquets 2 or 3 times a week. The king is very happy since the consort has arrived. It's the happiest that I have seen him, and I have worked here in the palace for 25 years. It's so good to see him finally smiling so much again. He has always been a kind master, but he has become more generous since the consort has arrived."
I look over at Mulek and I give him a wink and go, I bet. And,
Yeah, yeah. Mulek's just standing there, just taking it all in, just going, "Wow, how did I end up here?"
well, when you roll with me, we roll in deep circles, buddy. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
But Mulek's basically going to spend this time just keeping his eyes open, just keeping an eye out, looking around. He's not going to really initiate any conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, same with Glenray. He's just taking it all in.
So
I'm assuming like Kinraid he's up on stage by the band, right?
We haven't. Well, I think we're still waiting for dinner.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. You guys are still waiting for dinner.
Well, fellas, he don't perform on a full stomach, so he's just back there getting ready.
Cromwell would like a full roast before the festivities, so quite the opposite. But if the stage is there, he's definitely going to probably want to move the anvil if he doesn't like where it's positioned and cause a massive ruckus. Just drag it across the floor.
Okay, actually, you will. If you mention that you're part of the band and you want to double check the setup, then you will be taken. Somebody figures that you have a few minutes that you can go over there. You will be taken over to the hall where the concert will be. And they will. Oh shoot, Shazbot. Sorry, I have a setting wrong on this. I believe.
Ballinger just likes the idea of Kinraid being in the band because if anything ever goes wrong, it's like he's got somebody right there, And he only plays on 1 or 2 songs anyway, so most of the time he's just out there hanging out drinking.
Yeah.
And I'm always armed with a hammer because that's what I play.
Yes. Okay. So, Krenraid, as they walk you in, you come in from this. Oh, whoops! I'm on the wrong layer. You come in from the west here.
Okay.
And you come down these big, huge stairs, and just ignore all the people that are there now because it's pretty well empty at this point. And then where they have the performance area set up is right here in the middle, in between these 2 gargantuan statues.
Ooh, very fancy.
And there's these large braziers that are lit and providing illumination. And as you look up, the ceiling is at least 50 feet up in this room. And so these statues are probably about 40 feet tall each, that are on either side of this area. And then these big, huge columns go all the way to the ceiling. And of course, all of this stuff is inlaid. And if the inlay in the floors is not actual gold, it's at least gold leaf on top of whatever is there. So I mean, it's like, okay, yeah, that you're in a fancy place here.
I could appreciate all the floor work, that's for sure.
Yeah, and speaking of appreciating the floor work, I did not create this map. This map is made by a user who goes by PogS over on the D&D Maps subreddit. So if you like the map, and more so if you run your own D&D games, I can highly recommend that the D&D Maps subreddit is a fantastic place to go and find all kinds of stuff, because people just post things up there that are free to use, but I always like to try to give them credit if I use something from their site or from that site. Okay, so then, so the anvil is somewhere in this area here. You can adjust it the way you want. And the person who's with you, they're very complimentary of how you have it angled. And, you test it a few times by hitting it. Oh, yes, you have found the acoustic sweet spot. Sir, you definitely are a musician.
Yeah,
You have a musical soul.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Mm-hmm. Are there any chairs lined up around the place? Is obvious where people will be sitting?
Yes. Yes. You can tell with the way they have things set up. The royal box, if you will, is going to be about right here. So that's where the royal folk will be standing. It's kind of the medieval equivalent of those the bastions with the sort of extendable ropes on it, like you find at the movie theaters and everything. They've got that area sort of set off, and you can tell that there are stations over here, both on this side to the north and this side to the south, for guards. That would be kind of like the honor guard that would be protecting the king and the consort. And then there's a couple of there's some more seating back behind that, where people would be seated. And then over to the opposite side, back over here, you see where they actually have some places set up, and the person will tell you that the musicians who are not playing will have seating over here on this side. So you get to be on the opposite side of the stage from the nobility. But
is the stage raised at all? Sorry, or is it on the flat on the ground?
It is. There is some. It's a little bit raised. It's kind of sacrilegious because it looks like the raised portion of the stage is wood, but you realize that's because it's temporary. Normally this is just a wide flat hall, but there's probably 2 small steps. It probably comes up a total of maybe a foot or a foot and a half. And the raised area of the stage, let's see, the raised area of the stage probably stretches like this here. That's really hard to see, isn't it? So
I see it. My mind's imagining is already kind of put it together as well, and this is a good picture you're painting, so thanks for that.
Yeah, so I just want to, so that it's a little bit clearer on the stream, make it a little bit darker. So it's about like that, and as you look at it, you realize it's actually not wood, but it is a wood-like substance. It's definitely not stone. And of course, you do have one of the people there from the palace with you.
What? I'm just going to knock on the floor. What is this?
These are actually made from some of the mushrooms that you can find in the Underdark. There's a type of mushroom called zirkwood that can be used to actually construct, fabricate entire buildings. You will find that some of the gnomes and even a few of the dark elf communities will use zirkwood to build some of their structures and a lot of their furniture. Of course, the only time we use it is for temporary structures like this. We would not want to damage the tiles on the floor by building something of stone here temporarily. So we have to use zirkwood, but normally we keep this in storage because it's not stone. It's kind of unsightly for dwarves, and our apologies.
It's just something to apologize for. I can see it. I didn't really see many trees. I kind of assumed you got them from somewhere else, but this makes a bit more sense. Besides, some of those mushrooms are also delicious. I can't eat this, can I?
No. This would give you a bad case of indigestion. Yeah, yes, but you're quite right. Some of the mushrooms are very tasty, and mixed with the right spices, they taste almost like meats from the surface. Oh, and by the way, I must thank you all for visiting, because between this morning, all day today, and hopefully for as long as you're staying, there's been more meat from the surface than we've seen in decades. So, thank you.
That's nothing to do with us. I just showed up, but thank you for the wonderful description of this nice wood thing.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. We best be getting back to the banquet if you're satisfied with the placement of the anvil.
I'm very satisfied with the location, the sound, and everything else. Just very, very satisfied. And he's thinking to himself, I know exactly where they're going to sit now. And then
okay, all right. All right. So they take you back to the hall, and I don't have a map for the banquet hall. But you get back, and it's probably only like 2 or 3 minutes after you get back, Krenraid. But you do have a chance to talk to your friends if you want to tell them what you found.
Oh yeah, I'll go up to Mulek and Faldor because I think I think Fella's just still backstage in the Star Suite,
Okay.
right? The Blue Room or whatever they'll have. Just go up to Mulek and Faldor and just say, so I did a bit of a preliminary scout mission. I guess it's how best I would describe that series of events. Anyway, the big lady Shay and the big king are going to be sitting prime and center on this raised box thing. It looked very fancy. But the important thing is, if we do the whole spiel, right, and we do it in a certain direction, he's guaranteed to see her.
How far away will we be from them?
It depends how it seemed pretty, like the stage is pretty big. So I think it would just depend on how we wanted to set it up. I'm sure we could just move a bit closer if we wanted to.
I mean, I won't be on the stage. Do you know where am I? Could you tell if they're going to allow people, like, are people going to be standing around? Or are people going to be sitting? Are we going to be sitting close to the king?
We talked about out of character. Like last week, we decided that like we were going to have somebody up there that could cast Greater Restoration or something on the king, and so the king's going to come up
True sight
or whatever. Yeah, he was going to come up and sing with the band as kind of a guest of honor kind of thing.
Yeah, Mulek is just I'm in character trying to get an idea of where I'm going to be in relation to everything else. So
okay.
So from what I noticed when I was looking around, there was some more seating that the aide informed me was for the musicians to sit down in. So I think if you're there as guests, that wouldn't be where you would sit, would be my guess. Instead, I think you'd be behind the king or around him. There seemed there are many seats, probably enough for all of these fine, very cultured folk. Not so much standing.
Okay.
So hopefully you'll be near the king or near Shay in this instance.
Well,
anything.
if not, we'll make do.
Yeah, I'm sure you can, find your way to a closer position if you so choose. I feel like you'd be very good at that.
I think we'll figure it out on that end. I don't think Mulek wants to get that close to her.
No, but I've got some tricks in a bag that might be able to.
I think we got this going, fellas. I think we need to get it rolling.
All
Let's get some
right.
grub first.
Yeah, so okay. So players in the Discord, we have an image of Falager's get up. Okay, yes.
He really is the king.
When Falager shows up, that is definitely, it turns heads and people go, "Oh, yes, it's the famous Falager," from the surface. And several of these Duragar, they come up to you and they talk to you. And clearly from the, there's a couple of them that were at the Shattered Spire, and they have favorite songs that you played last night, and they hope that you will play. Others of them are clearly, they did not attend that, but they're doing that thing where they're trying to be polite and they're trying to act like they know, like they're familiar with your work, but clearly they aren't. Sort of like doing that thing where they would like maybe mix up a song by Stephen Stills with a song by Stevie Wonder, because clearly they have no idea who either one of those are. They just heard the names. So you're like, okay, yes, and that's fine. Now, we go to the dinner, and there's a big fanfare, gold and silver plated trumpets that announce the king when he comes in the hall. And of course the trumpets ring out, and everybody, by the time he gets there, all of that main table in the big hall has filled in. And when the trumpets sound, all of those people stand up, and everyone that is in the little side room where you are, they all stand up, and kind of get very straight and whatnot. And there's this big fanfare that plays, and then the several guards walk out, and a guard walks in front holding a banner, and then a couple of other guards come out behind him, and then behind them comes the Deepking, and he's wearing a really super fancy outfit that is studded with all kinds of gems and thread of gold that has all sorts of designs and stuff like that on it. There's a big hammer that's embroidered down the back in thread of gold, and then crossed over the hammer there's a sword and there's an axe. So it's kind of got the three traditional weapons of the dwarves that are depicted on that on the back of his cloak. And Shawl the consort is on his arm, and she's dressed in that same dress that you saw yesterday that looks like it's made out of I guess you saw it this morning actually, that looks like it's made out of gold pieces. And the tiara that has all the diamonds on it and everything is in her hair. And they walk through the room that you all are in, and they turn to everybody and they nod sagely. And the people who are there, they sort of they sort of go to the people and arrange as the king walks out. They sort of have people walk out in the order of where they are sitting. And Faliger, you realize that when they get ready to walk you out, the king is sitting in the center, in the very center of this head table. And immediately to his right is the consort. Immediately to his left is the seat that they have reserved for Faliger. So you are right at the king's elbow. And then in no particular order, because it's the order that you guys appear on the screen, to Faliger's right is Krenraid, to Krenraid's right is Mulek, and to Mulek's right is Thaldor. So that's how you guys are seated at that head table. And then on the other side of Shal, there are apparently people that are other dignitaries. And then on your right, Thaldor, there are some other dignitaries there. And as you all look out at the main table, you see that actually seated, from your view, seated on the right side of that table, about 3 or 4 spots down, is the master craftsman, the hammersmith that you all met earlier in the day. The gentleman who is Meldrum, yes. So Meldrum is seated there. And then almost directly opposite him is a man that he's wearing kind of fancy, almost wizard-like robes. And he's seated opposite him. Whatnot. So the dinner starts to be served, and of course there's probably about 6 or 7 courses to this dinner, and it starts with a sort of a gazpacho style chilled soup that comes out first, and it's got kind of a broth, and it has a mix of surface vegetables and mushrooms from the Underdark in the broth. And it's this kind of system where the first 2 or 3 courses, it seems like they bring those out, and they obviously serve the king and the consort first, and they start eating as soon as they get their plates. And then they kind of start going and serving everybody else. And as soon as they finish serving the first course, they come back and start picking up the dishes from the first course. And then that's followed almost immediately by the second course. And the same pattern always is the same. The king and the consort always get served first, and then both at the head table and at the main table, they serve other people. And so by the time you get around to like the third course, it's clear that you guys are already being served your third course, while there are some people down at the end of the main table that are still working on their first course, and they haven't come along and picked up those dishes yet, just because of the relative pace of how quickly they serve the head table versus the other table. But by the time they get to the third course, which is a salad, which is made again of some mushroom caps from the Underdark, as well as some leafy vegetables from the surface, then they kind of relax a little bit, and they sort of let everybody eat and whatnot. So you guys are welcome to munch on your food or talk to people either side of you or whatever.
While we're sitting there eating, Mulek's just going to try to find out how long the performance is going to last for.
Oh, okay. You kind of. How are you doing that? Are you doing that just by trying to listen, or are you gonna?
I'm gonna nudge Kren, because since he's sitting next to Thalager. Hey, Kren.
Yeah.
Ask Thalager. See if he can find out how long you guys are performing tonight. Is it like going to be like an hour, like 2 hours, 3 hours? See if he knows or if he can find out.
It's gonna help Thalager. Hey, how long is the performance gonna be? Do you know? If not, do you want to ask?
I recommend it'll be about an hour, at least.
Hour? Okay. I'll just elbow me like some grease slopping down his face. An hour.
Like exactly an hour?
More or less.
Well, is it more or less, or is it an hour? I need to know.
Outdoor just looking over, laughing.
Go back and elbow. Is it exactly an hour?
What the hell?
Sorry, but is it exactly an hour, or is it more or less an hour?
I reckon it'll be at least an hour, like I said, damn it.
Look, elbow. At least an hour.
But could it be 2 or 3 hours?
And as I'm listening to this, I nudge Mulek and go, Mulek, he said at least an hour. So that means it's going to be probably no more than 1 hour. And then just goes back to eating his food.
Well, that's not what at least an hour means.
What you said?
Well, at least an hour means it will be at least an hour, but it doesn't say that it's not going to be 3 or 4 hours.
I take it at Fowler's word that the concert will be 1 hour. I'm also the manager. I look over. How far apart are we?
Who?
How far apart are all four of us?
You guys have plenty of elbow room, but you're within an arm's reach of each other. You can kind of lean over and whisper to each other if you want to talk to each other without being overheard.
Well, this is. I don't want to be too loud, but I look at Fowler. Fowler, I hold up one finger. 1 hour.
Yep, he just nods.
It's 1 hour. Goes back to eating his food.
All right. I hold up my hands and just go, I can't work, guys. And I just continue eating my food.
Kramer's looking very happily, like he's conveyed the message perfectly, and he goes back to his thing.
Okay, so the first course is like a sort of cold soup. The second course is a little plate that has some rolls on it, and then larger baskets of rolls are brought out, and after you've had time to sort of clean your palate with a couple of bites of the rolls, the salad comes out, and then that's the third course, and then the fourth course comes out, and this is sort of the first heated dish. Well, I guess the rolls are kind of warm, but this is a kind of little pastries. They're savory as opposed to sweet pastries, and they're filled with like little meats and spice fillings and whatnot. And they have a bit of a zip to them, but they're definitely not hot in relation to the hot sauce that you guys had on the crayfish at lunch. So each plate is sort of has 2 or 3 of these little pastries on there, and they're all different kinds. And you notice that each of you has slightly different assortment of these pastries. And every one of the pastries is about enough for like 2 bites. So you could sort of, trade off with each other if you wanted that, and what, if you wanted to or whatnot, or you have utensils so you can, cut a pastry into, thirds or halves and share it with some of your friends or whatnot if you want to, so everybody can try whatnot. And there's different spices, different meats, different types of fillings and vegetables that are in each one of these. So that's the 4th course. Then the 5th course actually is the main meal. And the main meal is what is brought out is are 3 gigantic platters that are sat in front of the king. And the one platter looks like it is the entire back half of a full-grown boar. So it's like a full boar roast, but the entire sort of back half of that. Then there is another platter that is not is the largest turkey that you all have ever seen from the surface, and it's all been roasted and everything. And then the 3rd platter has what looks like an entire not just a rack of beef ribs, but an entire side of beef that has been roasted. And those are set in front of the king, basically, and he has the large carving knife. And he goes to actually carve a piece for himself and a piece for the consort. And he gives the consort a piece, and he takes a piece for himself. And then as he cuts those, smaller platters are brought out that are intended to be shared like between 2 or 3 other people. And they already have the same meats, but they're already sliced into like steak cuts. So, there's like big cuts of turkey, big cuts of pork, and big cuts of beef. And then there are some gravy boats that are set out. And the plates that each of you are brought have some kind of concoction that you are told is actually mashed mushrooms as opposed to mashed potatoes, but it looks like the consistency of mashed potatoes, but you're told that's mushrooms. And then there's a kind of a vegetable casserole that is on there, and then there are some clear surface vegetables, like there's a medley of carrots and corn and peas that is on another part of the plate. And then obviously what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to pick whether you want some of the pork, some of the beef, some of the turkey, or some of all of it, and you add the meat and the gravy to your plate. So that's the way this is served. And that whole portion of the dinner goes on for maybe like 45 minutes, that course. So you guys can eat whatever of that you want. And then the 5th course comes. And the 5th course is actually is a selection of either coffee or tea. I'm sorry, the 6th course is coffee or tea that is brought out for everybody. And you are able to get a cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatnot. And then finally, the 7th course that comes out is actually a concoction that all of you, or some of you or none of you, may have ever had before. This is clearly some sort of dairy type dessert, and it's kind of almost like a very thick and heavy cream, but it's actually been frozen, and it's been scooped out and put on a plate, and there's a garnish of fresh berries from the surface that are around this, and then there's a little silver dish that has 3 tiny silver uh, uh, kind of cups with handles on them, and you smell those, and those are obviously heated, and they each smell like a different kind of berry. And so there's like a blackberry type of sauce, and there's a strawberry type of sauce, and there's a blueberry type of sauce that can be poured over this frozen dairy that you pour. So, and the king, of course, the king and the consort both kind of eat the people than they eat throughout the entire meal. Each other. King will make polite conversation with you, Fallager. If there's anything that you want to ask him, this time, say sometime during the dinner, you ask him whatever it is you want to ask him. So you can do that if you wish.
Fallager? In my face.
Dude.
I'm sorry, what? What's going on? You were breaking up.
Oh,
pretty
okay,
bad,
okay.
We don't have to repeat everything.
Oh, goodness. Okay. All right. Yeah.
We heard most of it.
It looks like there was some chop. Oh, okay. I was just saying that. Okay. Looks like it's still recording. So I think we'll have it at least still on that. Is the stream back up, or do I have...
It never dropped. It's just, I think Discord is
okay.
getting ping problems. Anyway,
okay.
What regards to Fallager?
I was going to say, Fallager, all during this dinner, is there anything in particular you'd want to ask the king?
Nope.
Okay. All right. The king will just sort of make with you, sort of greet you and say he's looking forward to the performance, but he doesn't pry as to what you'll be playing or anything like that. When he talks to you, one thing that you do notice is after he says a couple of things to you, the consort will sort of gently lay a hand on his other arm, and he just sort of begins to turn back towards her and talks with her some more at that. So it's like he isn't given a lot of time to actually discuss anything with you.
Fallager, he's just he's polite and cordial, and he's smiling, and
okay.
All
right. Well, then I think what we will do is, since we have tortured our dear viewers and listeners enough with tales of the dinner that you all are having, we'll go ahead and take a break here. Let them grab something to nosh on, and we'll take about 10 minutes, and we will come back to actually start this concert portion of the game day that people have been waiting for the last couple of sessions. And I'm going to put the slate up, and I'm going to put the stream beats on, and I'll mute myself, and we will be back in a few minutes. All right, everybody. Smoke if you got them.
His stream just ended again.
Oh, did it?
Yeah, it's issues like crazy. Well, I mod for him, so it's going in and out.
Oh, you do mod for him? Mm.
It's going crazy. I always try to have it pulled up in the background, and
I don't think it's just him though. I think it's like.
Let me double check. Hold on. Let me check my other friend that's streaming live right now. Hold on.
Because if that's having problems, I know our Discord was having problems. I was personally seeing the connections going really bad in the MS.
My buddy's
having
a good stream.
At one point, it pretty much almost went nothing. Almost disconnected me. Your buddy what?
Well, I got my buddy up on another panel running, and he's streaming just fine.
It's probably just on mine. Yeah. It's probably on Galley's end then.
Yeah, it must be his internet. Something.
But it seems like it's fixed itself, at least for the Discord side.
The Discord, I think itself was having some very big issues because I lost the connection just within Discord, and that was it. I didn't have a packet box or anything else like that. So it was most likely just some occasional problems.
I don't know, man. Here in the West, we get DDoSed and our internets get attacked and all kinds of stuff all the time. Well, I'll try not to drag things out too far. That way we can get straight into what we're trying to do.
I don't know. By all means,
you want me to announce you?
You're the headliner, mate. This is your scene to do as you will. By all means.
I mean, it's not that big a deal. I feel like people are aching to get some action. You know what I mean?
No,
I think I'm itching to roll some dice.
Did you check out that Sunday game, the session I told you to check out, Conrad, or have you been too busy?
I've been in bed, honestly. I could have watched it at the perfect time, but I didn't watch stuff on Netflix.
Feels bad.
Don't blame me on that.
Sure know how to make a guy feel special, Paul. Appreciate it.
Like, to make it even worse, it really was like the perfect time. But, I was just watching shit that I didn't even have to think about. I don't know how you guys, when you're ill, right, and you just watch something that's so fucking stupid, but you know kind of what it is and what it's about, like an action film or an adventure film or something that you don't even have to think about at all, but like a splitting headache. That's what I was watching on Netflix on repeat. Unfortunately, I actually care about the things that you recommend, so I wouldn't have been able to appreciate it even if I watched it, to be honest.
Yeah, he was in that drunken sick sleep.
It's all right. It's probably more. We probably thought it was better just because it was more like a inside kind of thing. But I don't know. We thought it was a pretty good episode.
I couldn't say.
I know.
It shall be right back, gentlemen.
I can't even get Michael to listen to our show.
I listened to your show.
You didn't listen to the one I asked Paul to listen to.
But last Sunday, or you mean just recently Sunday?
No, I forgot. It was like episode 130, 154 or something like that. I can't remember.
I'll take a listen to it while I'm at work.
It's I don't remember which one it was. It wasn't this last one, and it wasn't the last one before that. It was the one before that one. So it's like 3 episodes ago.
I'll go listen.
I don't know. It's the episode where we're all like eating dinner. We're out eating dinner and we're doing a lot of role play, like whatever episode that is.
I'll take a crack at it, buddy. I'll listen to it for you.
As will I.
When I'm at work and I'm sitting at work and
don't
it's
lie to
quiet,
me, Paul.
I'll listen to it.
Don't tell me those British lies.
Yeah, Paul. Why don't you listen to it? Come back and quote it for him verbatim to show him you listened to it. I'll be right back, guys.
All he has to do is give me one line out of it, and I'll know that he watched it.
No, you don't want it. And then I'll just skip the fucking 15 minutes, look for a line. Hey, look, I totally watched that.
Hey, you know what? I'd still believe you though. Be satisfied with it.
No, that's
Be like, oh, he listened.
I'm still feeling a bit shit. So if you could shoot me over a link, and
I don't know. I'll check it out. I don't know. Like I said, we're probably just think it's better than it really is. But I went back and listened to it twice, and I was surprised how good it was.
Sometimes you just really have great sessions. So if that was the feeling you got out of it, probably is true. As I said, those are my favorite kind of sessions, like when experiencing them and watching.
Yeah.
So it probably would be good.
God bless. I'm looking. I don't know. I think it might be episode 85. Let me look.
Dinner with friends. Yeah, it probably is that, right? Yeah, I've got like a kind of like a cherry blossom tree set up in the background.
No, it's session 85, Academy Preparation.
Session 85.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he's mislabeled his stuff somehow. He said he had problems, like he was. Is there one that says the title? That says dinner?
Well, it's on YouTube. Walker Board Deep Session 85. There's dinner with friends.
Oh yeah. Then that one's it. I think. I don't.
Literally just sort of you guys thought you can adapt it.
Oh yeah, for the most part, it's a full RP session, which I know you like those kind of things. So
I do. I really do. They're my favorite thing. Like, if it's just characters talking shit to each other, like we barely did this right there. Like if it's just 3 or 4 hours of that, I'm down. That's my fucking jam right there.
It gets really awkward towards the end, and then right at the end, like I feel like I kind of overkilled a little bit, but with Heather, she plays Inca, and but other than that, I thought we had a lot of fun. Everybody was laughing, dude. It was so crazy. You're just like, wow, everybody's having such a good time.
First of all, I'm glad to hear that, and second, that does sound pretty good. Yeah.
Then our last session last week was kind of a stinker. Like we just didn't like. I don't know. Like we were kind of not. We were out of sync. I don't know what the deal was.
That's karma.
I know. Me personally, I felt like it felt kind of a flop session last week.
I feel really bad this week because I keep losing my voice. So whenever I try to do the deep Kren voice,
yeah,
I immediately default again. Start choking.
Yeah, I feel you.
I'm back.
Like I definitely, like I said, I think Sunday is like me personally. I was just, I don't know. I don't know if I was pouting or just being bitchy or what the deal was, but I could definitely tell that like I was not helping the matters.
Sometimes.
Okay.
It's acting up again, Gally.
Doors of Fear, you're seeing it acting up again. Yeah, stream. I see that it's weird because I see that there are a number of people on, and yet it's Streamlabs is showing 0. While we have the opportunity to do so, I'm going to go ahead and very quickly, just to give everybody a heads up, I'm going to end the stream and restart the stream before we restart the session. So let me do that. I'll go ahead and